House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is attempting to distance herself from her own husband following the fact that he decided to get behind the wheel and drive under the influence at the ripe age of 82. This happened in Napa Valley, led to a car accident. Luckily, no one was hurt. But remember, every time you get behind the wheel under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you're not only putting your life in danger, you're putting other people's lives in danger, which is already bad enough if you're a bonehead 20-year-old who doesn't know what he or she's doing. It's even worse when you're an 82-year-old who clearly thinks that you're above the law. Don't have to worry about consequences. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband crashed a new Porsche just 5 miles from their multi-million-dollar California vineyard when he was busted for allegedly driving drunk, police documents revealed on Monday. Paul Pelosi, again, 82-year-old, was in a 2021 Porsche when he tried to get across State Route 29 in Napa Valley from a country lane close to other vineyards just before 10:30 p.m. Saturday, his arrest report said. So he was in fact arrested. He actually ended up hitting a Jeep, someone driving a Jeep to be specific. Again, luckily no one was hurt, but a local ABC affiliate was able to get some footage of the damage in the area. And I just want to show you a screenshot of that damage because that was the, I guess, collateral damage from the DUI, driving under the influence that Paul Pelosi did. Okay, so with that said, how is Nancy Pelosi distancing herself from him? Well, Drew Hamill, a spokesperson for Pelosi, told the AP on Sunday that the speaker will not be commenting on this private matter, which occurred while she was on the East Coast. So she was on the East Coast, she's not involved, and it's a private matter, she's not gonna be commenting. Yeah, well, she and her husband are public figures. This had to do with a DUI that puts the public in danger. So no, this isn't a private matter. This is very much a public matter, and she should comment on it. But of course, she loves to skirt any kind of responsibility for either herself or, in this case, members of her family. But what was telling to me about this story wasn't so much that an 82-year-old man was irresponsible and stupid enough to get behind the wheel while under the influence of alcohol. It was all the other little details that were buried in the story about this drunk driving incident. Mainly the fact that we're talking about a couple, the Speaker of the House specifically, by the way, people who are so wealthy that they not only own an estate in Napa Valley for vacationing purposes, of course, but they own a vineyard. So how is someone like Nancy Pelosi, who has not one but two $12,000 refrigerators and decides to show them off in the beginning of a pandemic when literally tens of millions of Americans had been laid off of their jobs, how is she supposed to understand us and represent us? And so this is a headline from the Los Angeles Times from several years ago, 2015 to be exact. So who knows where she ranks today, but Nancy Pelosi's vineyard makes her the 4th richest Californian in Congress. Homegirl owns a vineyard. And listen, for those who say, look, Anna, you're coming on, you sound like you're jealous of success. Is that what's going on? You're jealous of success? No, the point that I wanna make is she didn't get rich on accident, okay? She has been in Congress for a long time, and it's how she and others like her use her position of power not to represent the American people, more importantly, to enrich herself, okay? We talk about corruption all the time, we talk about legalized bribery all the time, but we also need to talk about how easy it is for them to enrich themselves through the access or being able to access information that we're not privy to, information that they then trade stocks on. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a quick explainer video to tell you.
Pressure's been building after several academic studies revealed lawmakers play the markets better than anyone else.
Members of Congress outperform the stock market by about 6 to 10% on a regular basis. Now, that may be due to the infinite wisdom that resides in these halls, or it could be something different, luck, smart, savvy trading, or the possibility that there was insider knowledge.
Recent reports highlighted potential conflicts of interest. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat, is alleged to have received beneficial treatment from credit card company Visa to buy its shares, as a controversial credit card bill was being discussed.
Oh, I've got some more details on that in just a moment. But that is just one example, okay? So how is Nancy Pelosi going to make the right legislative decisions to represent the people who elected her in this position of power when she's got her own financial motives to think about, right? There's a huge conflict of interest here. Let me give you more details on that. The week before the House Judiciary Committee voted on reining in big tech, Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, the drunk driver we were talking about earlier, exercised a bullish bet on Google parent Alphabet in a timely transaction that netted him $5.3 million. Gee, I wonder where he got the info necessary, the intel necessary to make that risky bet that ended up paying off handsomely for him. Gee, I wonder. Might just be a coincidence, right? Might just be a coincidence that the stock portfolios of lawmakers like Nancy Pelosi consistently outperform the market. Might just be a coincidence. I don't know. Let's continue. Paul Pelosi, who bought 4,000 shares of Alphabet on June 18th, as revealed in a financial disclosure signed by Nancy Pelosi and filed on July 2nd, made an initial $4.8 million gain from Alphabet's rising share price and has since seen his gain grow to $5.3 million. Paul Pelosi also reported buying call options for Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, but he did not report exercising them. So some reporting issues there as well. And so when you think back at what Nancy Pelosi had to say about, banning members of Congress from trading individual stocks, knowing all this context makes it easier to understand where she's coming from. Let me remind you.
Insider just completed a 5-month investigation finding that 49 members of Congress and 182 senior congressional staffers have violated the Stock Act, the insider trading law. I'm wondering if you have any reaction to that. And secondly, should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to this second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock. On the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be. Because this is a free market and we're a free market economy, they should be able to participate in that.
Yeah, let me just unpack that for you real quick, translate it. What she really meant to say was, why would I be in Congress if I wouldn't have the opportunity to enrich myself and make myself richer than I already am? Would it be to represent the American people? Not really interested in that. By the way, final note on that vineyard that the Pelosi's own in Napa Valley. It's the estate where a lot of the fundraising that Pelosi does goes on. In fact, Nancy Pelosi is known to appeal to all sorts of conservative and moderate financial interests in an effort to fundraise off of them. And a lot of that goes down in her Napa Valley vineyard and estate. So good, so good. Gee, I wonder why Democrats can't get anything done on behalf of their constituents when they're in power. Could be because of their conflicts of interest and the fact that they just want to get rich.